Hello, welcome back to Cass Chats. I am Cass Bowers. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is Sunday. It's almost Monday. It's almost midnight here in Milwaukee. Probably by the time this gets posted, it will be. But hopefully, um, I'll get it posted really quick. Probably not. But I made it. I did it. I finished my introduction. We go back to my video on Wednesday. I was working on my introduction for my chapter 2 section of my dissertation, and I got it done. It took a lot more than I thought, but I think it's pretty good. I really kind of like it. And so now I'm working on editing the theoretical framework. I started that and got a little stuck. So I'm going to meet up with my chair tomorrow or sometime next week. And when I say meet up, I mean via Zoom or conference call or something, because I'm a little stuck on what she's looking for. So I want to just make sure I talk to her first before I go too far down the wrong path. So one of the things I've learned, I've been taking a lot of workshops in my from my university, and one of the things I've learned is whatever your dissertation, whatever your chair says, kind of goes. Not exactly true, but if they want you to format it a certain way, format it that way. The expectation is that the chair has the final say. So that's why I want to talk to her before I reformat the whole thing. So I wrote a paragraph, which I think is a really good paragraph in the theoretical framework. I framed it. It's about intersectionality, as we know, some critical race theory as well, Black feminist theory. There's lots of theories you've probably heard about that are included in my framework, but it's based on intersectionality. So everything has to fold back into intersectionality. And like I said before, my paper does a really good job of doing that. So again, some advice for all of my PhD students out there that are kind of struggling through this. One, if you're brand new in your program, relate all of your papers back to what you want or what you think you want your dissertation to be on. Maybe you don't know yet, but you kind of have a general idea. Maybe it's education, maybe it's policing, maybe it's dog walking, whatever it is. Relate all of your papers back to that as much as you can. So then when you get further down in your dissertation process, you'll be able to see, one, you'll be able to see your progression and your writing gets better. And two, you'll be able to maybe tie those papers into your dissertation, which would be ideal. And even if you can't do that, you may be able to take some of those sources that you found, some of that research you've done, and put that into your dissertation. Again, the other piece of advice that I said a couple of weeks ago is try to find the most current sources that you can. So if you are in 2021, try to find sources in 2021, because when you get to the end, you'll still be able to use those sources more than likely. It won't take you as long as it's taking me. So those are two pieces of advice. Tie everything to what you think your dissertation is going to be or what it is. Even in your assignments, tie everything back to that. And two, use the most up-to-date, most current sources, so then later on in your dissertation you can just pull from those same sources. So that's just a little bit of advice that I kind of knew the first one. I had some PhD friends that told me that, so I did kind of tie everything together as much as I could. But some of my sources are outdated now. Like one of my favorite authors, researchers, is now outdated, and she hasn't written anything current. I'm just waiting for her to write something more current. So those are the two things that I wanted to say about that. But today is Research Sunday, so I thought that I would read off my research questions, and then you all, 7 or 8 of you, could give me your thoughts on it. Or maybe you already have read something that ties into that. You can put that in the comment box. Or you can just listen and, receive the information or ponder on the question. So my first research question is, what are the lived experiences? I'm reading from a piece of paper down here. So what are the lived experiences of Black women in nonprofit leadership positions regarding their intersectionality, identity, and intersectional identities, and exposure to discrimination and implicit bias in the workplace? I had messed that all up, but you kind of get the gist of it. The research question is, how are Black women affected by the intersection of their identity, so being Black and being female, and how does that impact how they experience discrimination and bias in the workplace? That's a simple way of saying it. You can't say things simple when you're a PhD candidate. The second research question is, how can Black women integrate sorry. How can Black women integrate successful strategies for both women and Black people to overcome discrimination and implicit bias and succeed in their jobs long term? Basically, what that means is, how can a Black woman take her dual identities of being Black and a woman and discover some success strategies to continue out her career in leadership? Because we know, or the research points to, how many Black women leave leadership roles. So what are the strategies that they use to overcome discrimination and implicit bias, even though, or because of, or even though, because of, or with great joy with being a Black woman, both Black and woman, the duality of that you can't separate. I was talking to someone recently, and she was asking me specific questions about myself and how I navigate leadership. And she mentioned something about being a woman in leadership, and it was like, yes, it's so hard to be a woman in leadership, but think this through. I can't separate being a woman from being Black. There's no way for me to take one identity away and keep the other one. I'm both at the same time. So that's really what my research is based on. It's based on how the duality of Black women in leadership either hurts or helps them, mostly hurts them. And if it hurts them, how do they overcome that? How do they become successful? And how do they stay successful? That is in essence what my research is about. So that is it. By the time you see this, it will probably be February 1st, which is the start of Black History Month. And I'm so excited about Black History Month. I love Black History Month. I know a lot of folks don't really appreciate that it's the shortest month of the year, and it's only 1 month. But I really love the opportunity to celebrate Black people. Even if it's only 28 days, it's 28 more days than we had before. And I just, I love being a Black woman. And so I love Black history. I love Black History Month. And I always say it's Black History Month, but it's American history, because it's everyone's history. It's just the month is just for Black people. So anyway, that's it. I still have a lot more work to do. I still have a lot more editing to do, but I have more time because I have one less job. So I have more time to actually work on all of these things and get this dissertation done, get this chapter 2 done, and that's the goal. So today was Research Sunday. Hopefully I didn't fumble too much through all of that and you understood me, even though I kind of, can't read or speak half the time. But also I look horrible. I've been working nonstop since Friday evening on doing these edits. So there's that, but it's okay. I will be looking better coming Wednesday. Fingers crossed. But thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye, castmates.